So a general overview of the year, we met for our first meeting, kind of got to know everyone a little bit, and then transitioned to our fall retreat where we got to spend a weekend getting to know all of the other members of the Engaging Leaders program, as well as the advisory board members and the two directors, Tiffany and Shafni. We did lots of really fun team building activities and activities that developed leadership skills, and got to spend some time outdoors.
But the fall retreat was very interesting because you show up and you're like, okay, who are all these people? Like we're all like in the vans. I don't know her. I don't know him. I don't know any of these people. But then when we left, we knew, we knew everybody, because when you get there, you immediately kick off with just kind of like learning who everyone is and bonding games, and especially teamwork games, because that works double fold, because you're learning everyone, but also you're learning how you work in a team and how you really kind of function as a leader. And that was, I think, like the point of the retreat that I took away.
So the diversity retreat, that was, I think, back in January, I believe. So it was our retreat after, for the second semester of the school year. So we had Dr. Tom Seasley come in, and he's a professor here on campus and a director for diversity on campus within the College of Natural Resources. And he came in, and he was our guest speaker for the entire day. So he taught us a lot about working with diverse groups. And that was kind of the focal point of the entire day. The way he presents himself and the way he presents the topic is just, your mind is blown. Like, I left that weekend, I was like, I would have definitely paid money for that. I would have paid hundreds of dollars just to go see him speak. Like, it was that good of material.
Yeah, so it was, we were put on groups of I think it's 3 to 4 people. And then we were pretty much just given the guideline of come up with something that is either beneficial to the college, the university, the community, something that could help people out. And then once each group had their idea, we went before a panel of judges that included the dean of the college and a professor within the college, and we just pitched our ideas to them and showed them a presentation and answered questions from them. And then based on that, they picked, I think it was they picked 3 groups to go on. And once those groups were picked, everybody else who wasn't fell into those groups and started working on those projects.
Yes, it was where Chad teed off on Tiffany for being a bad driver.
On the diversity retreat, when Chad went up to talk with, do that thing with Tiffany.
During diversity retreat, when Chad had to tell Tiffany how bad of a driver she was and what really made him mad about Tiffany's driving, that was quite interesting.
Okay, so then at the diversity retreat.
This you should tell this.
All right, Chad. Tell Tiffany how you think. Do some role playing right now. And soon, I remember I looked over at Dr. E with this deer in headlights type of look. And he was like, tell her how you feel, come on. And I was lost for words. I think maybe a solid 10 seconds. I was like, I don't know what to say. And then I just know where I just started telling Tiffany off, and I just got in the moment and just played the role, and it was pretty funny.
Something that I thought was really funny is I actually got to the day that we were working at Wiley Elementary School a little bit after the event had started. And I walk up and there's kids running around and screaming, and Tiffany's over to the side laughing, and Andrea's talking about how much she doesn't want to have kids. And I just walked up into this.
I immediately think of when we were on retreat and we were trying to take that group photo in front of the cabin, and we were ambushed by those yellow jackets in the middle of the photo. I got stung in the face. I'm pretty sure Sarah got stung in the face. Both me and her are kind of losing it. And I remember so clearly Tiffany chasing me around like I am losing it. And Tiffany's whacking me on the head with her bandana because I've still got a yellow jacket stuck in my hair and I couldn't handle it.
So something funny that happened this year is we went to Rex Rehab and their nursing home, and some of the engaging leaders were in charge of putting ornaments on the outside Christmas tree. So we were trying to throw a star on top of the tree, and we threw it into another tree, and we tried throwing other ornaments at it to get it down, and finally Kevin came along with his golf club and poked it out of the tree. But it took us 15 minutes for 5 of us to get that thing down.
During the diversity retreat, we did a scavenger hunt, and we got stopped by a police officer who was just asking what we were doing. But we took pictures and then convinced Erica that we were getting arrested, and she was freaking out when we got back.
We just sent her very vague messages, like a picture of them in the cop car.
Our group meet picture with Sarah, with the you know, she's got like the toothbrush in. I can't imagine what that was like during the actual day of that, but she just comes in with a toothbrush in her mouth. But
one of the most significant things that I learned, I would say that just because you have the experience of being a leader or having been involved in teams and other kind of leadership roles doesn't mean that you can't continue to learn things.
I learned that things are harder than they seem at first.
A significant thing is just gaining experience. I never done an interview before, never really worked in a committee, never done minutes by minutes.
The biggest thing that I learned from engaging leaders was just how there's so many different ways to be a leader, and there are different styles, and everybody kind of does it their own way.
I think for me, it was especially like during the committee process, I really realized that I can take this idea I have and I can bring it to life, and I can follow through on it and see it through and make sure that it's well done and put together. So I think that to me was a big thing, like realizing, wow, I can help put on this big event that last year I couldn't have done.
The biggest thing I learned was how to work in a team. I mean, I feel like I got a lot more out of this because I was in a team before that didn't get to like do the final activity, and in a team that actually did it, so I saw both sides, and I feel like I got a lot more out of that.
The most significant thing I learned this year is the importance of understanding different people's differences, and that everyone is going to learn and they're going to teach you in different ways. So you really have to be open and understand that they're going to be different than you.
For me, it was definitely working in a team and learning about conflict resolution, because I'd never really learned about that beforehand. So it really helped me as a leader to learn how to deal with conflict.
I think I didn't really realize how much I had learned from engaging leaders until I was on the advisory board and was able to utilize a lot of the skills, which I thought was really good.
You kind of always have to realize that you're an example for other people.
You get to see the great things that they get to do, and you really get a sense of pride in knowing that you helped them find themselves as a leader.
So I think it was kind of cool to see the development in the program. We switched it up and we did Shark Tank, and everyone survived the Shark Tank process to pitch their big idea for a really impactful event. And I think that was it was interesting to see the challenges, helping them put together their program, and see them kind of struggle through it maybe at times, and then in the end really having fun with it, and I think growing and developing as leaders. And so for me, that was really the important, I think that was a big takeaway and that I saw from this year's program.
I think it's different being on the advisory board, because when you're planning something, you want people to get everything out of like what you're planning, and so it's kind of a little bit stressful, and making sure that they're getting out of it what we want them to. It kind of puts a different perspective, because as a participant, it's just, you're having fun, you don't really know what's going on, but when you're on the other side, you know everything that's going on, and you just want to make sure that everyone's fully engaged.
I really like the committee putting together the project. I think it's been really beneficial to me to put all the parts together and get to work closely with a group of people who I enjoy being around.
For my favorite part of engaging leaders, I believe, it's the people. I know it's a bit cliche and cheesy, but how can you not choose the people? You guys are all pretty great, and I know I'm rather quiet compared to the rest of you, and I don't share a lot of the same majors, so we don't share any of the same professors, so there's not a ton to talk about. But don't think I haven't noticed how good of people you guys are.
My favorite part is definitely always starting the year starting the year not knowing anyone, and then leaving it with 25 new close friends.
favorite moment of being in the Engaging Leaders was the diversity retreat because, I mean, Dr. Easley was there and he's like one of my favorite teachers. But he just like teaches so well, and the whole experience of like seeing how like other people's point of views on the whole matter, and like how most of the time high schools and like even colleges don't actually mention diversity. That was my first time actually being in a place where that was being taught. My whole high school, and they never actually mentioned the word, so that was like a very big thing.
The diversity retreat.
Probably the diversity retreat.
I really like the diversity retreat.
The diversity retreat.
Favorite part. I think the diversity retreat was one of my favorite parts because I think everybody shared their ideas and we were made more closer, and it was definitely really enriching going through that experience with all of us.
Dan just learned how to use satellite on Google Earth, so I think that should be thrown in there somewhere. I think that needs to be very highlighted.
I'm not a freshman too.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
I don't appreciate
He's not
that.
even a freshman.